Ika-44 nga sesyon ng Sangguniang Panlungsod, Siyudad Hiton, Borongan. Hulyo 3, 2020, Part 2.
Noted. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Laws and Rules regarding the later complaint against Punong Barangay JB Palada o Barangay Balud for his gross neglect of duty for failure to liquidate financial assistance aid in the amount of 741,000 fiscal year 2012-2013.
So the committee chair on laws and rules, you have the floor.
The complainants already have counsel, and hearing is scheduled on Tuesday, July 7 at 1 p.m.
Okay, noted. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Laws and Rules regarding the administrative case against Punong Barangay Ralph Alconaba Barangay Tabok for gross neglect of duty for failure to liquidate financial aid in the amount of 600,406 pesos and 25 centavos, calendar year 2018-2019.
So the committee chair on laws and rules.
The complainants have not yet notified me if they already have their counsel.
Honorable Presiding
Yes,
Officer,
Honorable Cainday.
hearing will be rescheduled on this matter after we have a further information from the complainant. So probably next week or the week after.
Sige, thank you. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Joint Committee, Public Utilities and Finance, request of Honorable City Mayor to pass an ordinance utilizing savings from funds of completed project under the 20% Development Fund in the amount of 6,150,000.
Honorable Presiding
Yes, go ahead,
Officer,
Honorable Cainday.
this matter has already been taken up in our previous sessions. So a resolution was already granted to them.
Okay, this is already resolved.
Mr. Presiding Officer?
Yes, go ahead, Honorable Escoto.
I would like to come on manifestation that this request of the mayor is still pending because the lot that Memorial Park,
Sige, go ahead.
the Memorial Park is not yet titled. The title is not yet transferred to the city government.
Honorable
So-
Presiding,
Sige, go ahead.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would like to apologize. This is another request from our Honorable Mayor, which is pending in our agenda since we are awaiting for further results from our executive department regarding the transfer of the title of the proposed lot, which they are asking for a resolution to give a road right of way as to our ownership, since we need to be cautious with regards to our budgets and funds in providing road networks to private properties. Thank you.
Okay, noted. Any more? Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Joint Committee, Infrastructure, Transportation, Environment regarding the proposed ordinance adopting bicycle as an alternative mode of transportation in the city, Borongan.
So the committee chair on infrastructure and environment, you have the floor. Likely.
Yes, we conducted a committee meeting regarding this ordinance. Present was Engineer Casiliano and his group from DPWH and Sir Benji Onagiton and Dr. Anbuni Koniko of the Borongan Bike Scouts. Most of our discussion was about the proposed bike lanes, and what transpired was according to the DPWH, the council should ask permission to the DPWH if we could use the highways as bike lanes. So there is a proposed resolution regarding this matter under the proposed resolution.
Okay. Sige. Noted. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Joint Committee, Finance and Laws and Rules regarding the Barangay Ordinance Santa Fe prescribing rates of taxes, fees, and charges imposed by Barangay Santa Fe.
So the committee is on finance and laws and rules.
Honorable Presiding Officer, a committee meeting was held on June 30, 2020 at around 11 o'clock in the morning by the committee members and other Sangguniang Panlungsod members. Based on the review of the ordinance, there were certain provisions in the ordinance of Barangay Santa Fe, which needs more clarification. And we have recommended and suggested further clarification so that they will not have a direct and compliant ordinance. And we are awaiting for the amended barangay ordinance before we tackle this again. Before we do another barangay review, another review of the barangay ordinance. Thank you.
Noted. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Public Utilities, erroneous and overcharging of water bills by BWD.
The committee chair on public utilities.
Mr. Presiding Officer, we conducted a committee hearing together with Mr. Dilabahan, the complainant from San Saturnino, but the manager or from the BWD did not appear. Instead,
Surat.
the text, they sent a message through texting only instead of appearing the committee. May I read the context?
Sige, go ahead. Yes.
Sir, good PM. Nagkaistorya kami hitamon chairman of the board, Gracia Anacta, na diri hiya hit akon pag-attend. Pero kami ha office willing magpaimbestigar didi ha opisina para pati itamon mga tao maimbestigaran niyo, itamon mga meter readers, billing and posting clerk, itamon cashier, ngan itamon office collector para masayod kamo wara man gimbubuhat nga anomalya. Pwede niyo kitaon itamon gadget, itamon records, itamon computers, ginagamit hit billing and collection. Sorry mga honorable, sorry. As instructed not to attend. Kung may da anomalya it kuwa it magpupublikar nga dahit mga tao. Mr. Presiding Officer, I want to clarify. Ang pag-imbitara ay diri pag-imbestigar hiningay pinananag sabi.
Yeah.
Ang pag-imbitara para mapaliwanagan ang mga tao na reklamo han irabiling. Mr. Presiding Officer, hikita hiton City Council Sangguniang Panlungsod of Borongan. Bisan kundiri kita itira gin tutumban na balaod, diri kuno kita entitled hin pag labot hayra kay autonomous daw itong BWD. Dirit akan pakaintindihan, akseptado, pero may dala itong pagiging autonomous nera, may dala provision nga na sasabi dit palaod. Hikita itong Sangguniang Panlungsod, entitled kita magpakiana hiton mga problema labi na hini ng mga public utilities kahit nagamit init mga tao. Hikita it mga inilihir para hit mga tao, so entitled kita era magpakiana. Mr. Presiding Officer, tama ba ini nga itong isa nga opisina din ha Borongan pagpaparadaan hinimbitasyon so session or hearing, public meeting, committee meeting, through text la iton itiya pagbaton. Tama ba ini nga iton manager pagbubutan hit board member, hit board of directors nga diri umattend, hit pagpaliwanag lahat mga tao. Serbisyo publiko pa itirat karayag. Kung wala anomalya, dapat igsumadla nera. Di mat magpipirit ang mga tao. So, Mr. Presiding Officer, kung naroroyan nakukuan hirahiton, kung wala, it mag audit haira siyang paniya surat. Kung may da anomalya, kuha it magpapapublikar nga dahil mga tao. Mr. President Officer, pwede ba kita magpasa ng resolution nga dahil kuha nga i-audit hira latest?
Pwede.
I would like to ask the body.
Yeah, you can. You can put that into motion, Mr. Honorable Scotto.
So, I move for the passage of a resolution.
Any second?
I second the motion, but with modification.
Okay, go ahead.
I suggest the modification should state that the COA, our resolution should state that the COA furnish us their latest audited financial statement and the preceding audit. Again, another audit for this year.
Sige, go ahead, Honorable Cainday.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I fully support the statement of Honorable Escoto that any agency which is called by the Sangguniang Panlungsod should come forward with a formal explanation as to their non-attendance, since our purpose only is for legislative inquiry and not really to investigate, because we're not the proper investigative body. In connection to that, I would also like to propose an amendment to the motion of Honorable Escoto that we are urging the proper investigative body to do the operational audit in Borongan Water District, and at the same time the COA to look into the financial status of the Borongan Water District in order for us to have clarity and to furnish us a copy, of course, for legislative policy making.
So is the Honorable Escoto amenable to the suggestion of Honorable Arago and Honorable Cainday?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay, so any objections? And so the motion of Honorable Escoto is hereby approved. So Honorable Escoto, kindly draft the resolution. Okay, so next item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Finance regarding the new Memorial Park in Barangay Campisao.
So the Committee Chair on Finance, you have the floor.
Honorable Presiding Officer, the last committee meeting held on this matter was on June 16, 2020. It was attended by relevant resource speakers. The committee recommended to seek the legal opinion of our city legal regarding the subject matter, and as of this date, we have already received an opinion on this matter, and the opinion of the city legal is that we cannot yet spend money on this proposed site because it is against COA rules and other local laws. However, there is also a team which is already processing the transfer of the title and securing a certificate authorizing registration from our Bureau of Internal Revenue, so that when the title to the lot is already in place, we can proceed with the development of the new memorial park. Pending the status updates from this resource speakers and the team, we cannot hold further committee meetings yet. Thank you.
Okay, noted. The Honorable Cainday. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Finance regarding the appeal of the payong-payong stallholders on the extension of the deadline of payment of rentals in Baybay Boulevard.
So the Committee Chair on Finance.
Honorable Presiding Officer, a committee meeting was held last June 26, 2020 regarding the appeal of our payong-payong stall holders on the extension of deadline of the payment of rentals in Baybay Boulevard. During this committee meeting or public hearing, it was already manifested that we are amenable to condone a part of their rental, since they really had no operation from during our lockdown up to now. So it is not really fair for us to ask from them 100% of the rental payment. As of today, I am in the process of drafting the amendment to our ordinance in order to accommodate this new development from our payong-payong stallholders, and I will include in our order of business during our next session next Wednesday for the approval of the amendment of the ordinance.
Okay, noted. Thank you, the Honorable Cainday. So, the Honorable Daza, surang pa-meeting ka next week.
I will schedule a committee meeting regarding the matter next week.
Okay, so take note, the Honorable Limbauan.
Noted, Honorable
So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
Okay, we now move on to the committee report. Committee on Health regarding the proposed ordinance establishing safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of
So
COVID.
the committee chair on health, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. Allow me to remove my face mask because it's very difficult to speak while it's on. The Committee on Health conducted a public hearing on June 25, 2020 at the SP Session Hall starting at 10 a.m. to tackle the proposed ordinance establishing strict safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of COVID-19. Members of the committee and other members of the Sangguniang Panlungsod were present. Various stakeholders also attended the public hearing. After thorough discussion, the committee has come up with the following findings. 1. In accordance with the request of the City Mayor regarding the need to amend some provisions or entirely repeal City Ordinance Number 162, otherwise known as the Ordinance Regulating Certain Activities to Prevent the Spread of COVID-19 in the City of Borongan, through a letter dated June 15, 2020. The Committee on Health endeavored to come up with a substitute ordinance to be called the Borongan City New Normal Health Protocols Ordinance of 2020. Number 2, the ordinance is intended to establish a stronger set of measures in implementing the new normal basics, like wearing of face masks whenever a person goes out of their house, strict physical distancing policy in public places, and implementing sanitation and hygiene practices through the use of alcohol, sanitizers, and hand washing. As of now, these are the only rules that the ordinances can incorporate, as other anti-COVID measures are interim and could be adjusted in relation to the real-time changes of the pandemic. Number 3, monetary penalties or fines have been included in the new ordinance. The committee has decided to exclude community work as a sanction for violators as per advice from the DILG stating that community work is not among the sanctions or penalties that an LGU can impose. Number 4, the committee has received several suggestions from invited sources and stakeholders. However, the committee has decided not to incorporate the suggestions at the moment because the points they raised might be subjected to various changes in real-time situation of the pandemic. To accommodate future changes with regards to the direction of the pandemic, the committee created a flexibility clause instead that we allow the LGU to adjust the implementation of the ordinance in accordance with the future advisories from the national government. Number 5, in situations wherein physical distancing is very difficult to enforce, like in dental clinics, barber shops and salons, constructions, and back riding, the new normal provisions will be relaxed as long as they consider the concerned entities will follow the guidelines set by the relevant government agencies and accredited professional organizations. Number 6, in situation that the new normal provisions are needed to be relaxed, the committee has defined the phrase authorized activity and reasonable purposes to provide the implementers guidelines as to what do authorized activities and reasonable purposes constitute to ensure uniform understanding and implementation. Number 7, the committee believes that staying at home is still one of the best ways in minimizing the spread of infection. However, the proposed ordinance will likely be implemented under a less stringent community quarantine classification. This means that majority of the residents in the city will have more freedom to go out of their houses, and it will be a violation of their right to move freely if we prohibit them to go out. Therefore, a more strict ordinance is needed so that we will have a stronger health protocols in place in anticipation of the natural movements of the individuals. Only those people that are vulnerable are advised to stay at home. Number 6, the concerns under number 4 and 5 can be best answered by a comprehensive implementing rules and regulations through an executive order of the city mayor. The IRR can accommodate more details which an ordinance need not provide. Number 9, the proposed ordinance has already been endorsed during the meeting by the city mayor, whose concerns were mostly focused on the statement of policies and the penal provision. Number 10, the committee hereby recommends that the proposed ordinance be passed and approved as soon as possible. That would be all, Honorable Presiding Officer. With that, I submit my committee report to the body for consideration.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the body? Any comments? Suggestions? Further amendments? None? The Honorable Katrina Anacta-Sadac.
Honorable Presiding Officer, due to the rising number of COVID-19 cases in Eastern Visayas, there is an urgency to pass and approve this proposed ordinance. I move that it will be included in the list of items for a second reading.
Any second?
I second the motion.
Any objections? Further discussions? None? So the proposed ordinance is hereby included in the calendar of business for second reading.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding
Next
Officer.
item, Mr. Secretary.
Committee on Social Welfare regarding the proposed amendments on Section 3 and 5 of Ordinance Number 157, Series of 2020, monthly monetary allowance to eligible senior citizens in the city of Borongan.
So the Committee Chair on Social Welfare.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. May I read to the August body my committee report. Subject, the proposed amendment on Sections 3 and 5 of Ordinance Number 157, the monthly monetary allowance to eligible senior citizen in the city of Borongan. That a committee meeting was held on July 1, 2020 at 9 o'clock in the morning, attended by the chairman, vice chairman, and its members of the aforementioned committee, together with 56 barangay senior citizen presidents, Ms. Bernardita Apita, the OSCA head, Ms. Virginia Buna, the FISCA president, together with some guests from the PSWDO, Mr. Gerson Capada and Ms. Linal Agapan, and from our CSWDO, Ms. Annalyn Cabalfin and Daniel Ampong. That proposed amendments were made to Sections 3 and 5 of Ordinance Number 157, also known as an ordinance granting monthly monetary allowance in the amount of 250 pesos to eligible senior citizen in the city of Borongan and for other purposes. That Section 3 of Ordinance Number 157 provides for the qualification of an eligible senior citizen in the city of Borongan. Section 5 provides for the penalties applicable to those persons who will cause unjustifiable or intentional delay or intentionally lie or falsify documents. That in order for a senior citizen to be eligible of the monetary allowance, they must be 1. An actual resident of Borongan City, 2. Registered voter of the city of Borongan, C. Third, not a recipient of the DSWD social pension, Fourth, a member of the Barangay Senior Citizen Association. 5, should be a registered member of OSCA in Borongan City. That during the presentation of the proposed amendments, the committee members and participants discussed and clarified the qualifications such as who shall be considered as actual residents, concerns for those senior citizens who are outside of Borongan, proper check and balance for the certification of documents that will establish the proof of residency and voters' registration, and exemptions to the general requirements in order to qualify as eligible senior citizen. That for actual residents, it was agreed that they are those who are physically residing in Borongan, those who transferred in Borongan provided that they stayed an uninterrupted period of 6 months from the approval of the amended ordinance. For those outside of Borongan for medical treatment, they shall likewise be considered as residents provided they have medical certificate and properly certified by the punong barangay and barangay senior citizen president where he or she is residing. That for the proper checking of submitted documents, it was agreed that submitted documents shall be certified by the punong barangay and the barangay senior citizen president. That for those senior citizens who are bedridden, physically and or legally incapable of registering at COMELEC, it was amended that they provide an authorization letter to any immediate family member who shall secure the other requirements indicated in the proposed amendments. That the committee, after discussing with the concerned barangay senior citizen presidents, OSCA head and FISCAB respectfully recommends that the proposed amendments be approved by the Sangguniang Panlungsod. With no other matters to discuss, the committee meeting adjourned at around 11:50 in the morning. Honorable Presiding Officer, I submit my committee report to this August body for consideration.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the body? Any further comments? Yes, go ahead, Honorable Cainday.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would also just like to manifest that our Honorable Chairman on Social Welfare has made mention about the 6 months uninterrupted physical presence in Borongan City, because during also that public hearing, it was raised that there were some people who, there were some senior citizens who were unable to stay physically in Borongan City due to reasonable or other reasons, such as the fact that he or she needs to take care of her nephew or niece in another place, but not because she is not residing or she is not actually a Boronganon. Therefore, the meaning of the uninterrupted physical stay in Eastern Samar should mean not actually physical presence in Borongan City, but it is also, but in essence, what? But yes, as what Atty. Sweet has said, it should mean that there is interruption if there is a severance of the residents, meaning diri na hiya dinhi maakay ha Borongan dito nag ibang lugar, but kung naatuloy at ibang lugar for another reason which she cannot control or which is part of her obligation as a lola or a lolo, then it would still mean uninterrupted. But while not being physically present in Borongan City, the monetary allowance is suspended until her physical or his or her physical presence is already parang binabalik na hiyangan niya Borongan.
Okay.
So I would just like to manifest that.
Okay, noted. Sige. Honorable Ador?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to ask my colleagues, Honorable Limbauan, the amount, is that, make it clear, is that 250 per month? Because
Yes.
what I heard from the mayor, he will make it 500 effective this year.
Honorable Ador, this ordinance has been approved this year, mga March, maybe. So, what I paput Mayor Hack, pag-mention nga i-increase niya to 500. Ingatan po ordinance, kasi anatan pala na budget for this year is for 250 pesos per month pala po. Pero if ever man kuan nga ma-increasean. Actually, good news nga ni para ito natin mga senior citizens, I'm amenable to amend again our ordinance.
Because if I remember right, I heard it from the mayor that from 250, he will make it 500 this year. I don't know what happened.
Sige po, I will clarify with Mayor po regarding this matter.
Okay, so
Thank you.
we will refer this back to the committee.
Your Honor. Honorable Presiding Officer,
Yeah.
I move for the adoption of my committee report for the inclusion to in the first reading. First reading pala kasi just a manifestation. Waray ko pa po niya ipa-agenda for first reading. Nag-conduct na kin mga meetings para lahit akin reference para in the future nga ipa-agenda ko na first second reading katanan ng mga details na clarify na together with the resource persons.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Any objections? Yes, go ahead.
It's just a manifestation.
Okay.
Regarding the query of Kagawad Ador, had Kagawad Limbauan verified the total amount from the budget, if it warrants 500 pesos per month or only 250. I think it is clear in the budget for this year.
For this year po, we allotted the budget of 18 million pala po. So dire po talaga kaya 500 pesos.
So that 18 million is just
For the 250 pesos per month,
250,
yes
yes.
po.
okay.
Sige, go ahead, Honorable Sadac.
And our city mayor was present also during the meeting, and he never mentioned raising the monetary allowance to 500 pesos.
Okay, so yes, go ahead, Honorable Suyot.
But probably siguro nakita natin si Mayor, karag niya duggan. Aset siguro yan, aset pangin manariprundo, sa ito maupay makipag-coordinate kay para ma-increase ito to 500.
Yes. I would also suggest to the committee chair to talk with the mayor. So we have a pending motion duly seconded by the Honorable Cainday. Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the motion of Honorable Limbauan is hereby approved. So, sige, go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
Appropriation ordinance reverting to the legislative services, the Executive Assistant Salary Grade 14, the Office of Panlungsod Member, Renato Sibagakay, from the months of January to May 2020.
Okay.
Appropriation ordinance reverting from salary savings of the Office of the City Vice Mayor to legislative services of City Office. Amendments of Ordinance 167, Series of 2020, entitled Free Medicine Ordinance. Amendment of Section 3 and 5, Ordinance Number 157, Series of 2020, monthly monetary allowance to eligible senior citizens in the city of Borongan. That's all, Mr. Presiding Officer, for proposed ordinance.
Okay. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Okay, we now move on to the proposed resolution. Resolution authorizing the city mayor to represent the city government of Borongan in a legal suit against Police Lieutenant Colonel Joel Ana for his unlawful acts in violation of quarantine checkpoint protocols and other rules and regulations set forth under existing laws, and any other rules and regulations that may constitute grave misconduct, less grave misconduct, conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service and or civil or criminal cases.
The Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since this matter is urgent but it needs further studies and investigations on our part, I move that we refer the matter to the Joint Committee on Peace and Order, chaired by Honorable Renato Bagakay, and Laws and Rules, chaired by Honorable Zen Daza, the Committee on Peace and Order taking the lead.
Any second? Any objections? So we refer this to the appropriate committees. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Resolution for the dismissal of the administrative case against Kagawad Sara Basilia de Cirila a factor of Barangay Canabong for grave misconduct for violating the City Solid Waste Management Ordinance or EcoSWAM rules and regulation of the city.
the Committee Chair on Laws and Rules. You have the floor.
Thank you. May I read to you the resolution? A resolution dismissing and resolving administrative case number SP-20-001 entitled J. Lagdaan Complainant versus Kagawad S. Basilia and C. Factor Respondents. Whereas a memorandum number JIDCA 574-0120 dated January 2020 was submitted by the City Mayor Jose Ivanday and C. Agda to the Sangguniang Panlungsod regarding a verified complaint filed by Engineer Joseph B. Lagdaan, City Solid Waste Management Office against Barangay Kagawad Sara S. Basilia and Cirilla A. Factor dated January 2020. Whereas the complaint is regarding the alleged refusal of the respondents to allow the collection of garbage in violation of Section 42 of Municipal Ordinance Number 37, otherwise known as the Eco-Swam Ordinance of City of Borongan. Whereas, however, during June 16, 2020 hearing, the City Legal Office manifested their willingness to withdraw the complaint, provided that the respondents will abide the request of Barangay Canabong Council to request the collection of garbage in their barangay as per aforementioned ordinance. Whereas the Sangguniang Panlungsod through the Office of the City Vice Mayor and the Chair Committee on Environment has received on June 18, 2020 the motion to withdraw complaint submitted by the City Legal Officer with the consent of the complainant Joseph B. Lagdan. Now therefore, in view of the said motion to withdraw complaint filed by the complainant, administrative case number SP-20-001 is hereby dismissed and resolved. I therefore move to pass and approve a resolution dismissing and resolving administrative case number SP-20-001 entitled J. Lagdaan Complainant versus Kagawad S. Basilia and C. Factor Respondents.
Any objections?
Honorable Presiding
yes, go
Officer,
ahead, Honorable
I would just like to manifest that the effectivity of this resolution should retroact to the time that we have received the
Complaint.
that we have received the dismissal, so the withdrawal of the complaint.
Okay, noted. So any objections? Further discussions? None. So the resolution for the dismissal of the administrative case against Kagawad Sara Basilia and Cirilla A. Factor of Barangay Kagawad for grave misconduct is hereby approved. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
A resolution requesting the Department of Public Works and Highways for the use of road shoulders of the highways as bike lanes.
The Committee Chair on Environment, you have the floor.
Thank you. This proposed resolution transpired during our committee meeting kasi according to our resource speakers, Engineer Casiliano of DPWH, before we can establish bike lanes along the highways, we should ask permission from the DPWH. So, this is urgent because makikita po natin yan na dami natin mga bikers, dili leton mga enthusiast, kundi pati aton mga nagko-commute using their bikes. So, kinahanglan po talaga yun natin. So, I therefore move that to pass and approve a resolution requesting the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, for the use of the road shoulders of the highways as bike lanes.
Any objections? Further discussions? Yes, go ahead, Honorable.
Just a suggestion, I am in accord with the resolution. I only wanted to enlighten the public, especially the motorists, to respect these cycle riders along the road. Kasi kung nakikita natin, hindi ba nga lugar, pag kinikita nila tagbabay, kinaharayuan at nila. Pero dito natin, ang ilaw, susunod-sunod, pas. Yeah, respeto, na yan.
In other words, we share the road.
This is in connection with the proposed ordinance which was initiated by our very own Vice Mayor, and I hope this ordinance will pass this month.
Okay. So any objections? None. So the resolution requesting that the Department of Public Works and Highways for the use of road shoulders of the highways as bike lanes is hereby approved. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Proposed resolution regarding amendment of safety hours.
The Honorable Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, it is very well known to us that our public safety hours has been implemented since the ECQ period. So, in our approved ordinance, we have the authority to declare public safety hours. Since we're already under our MGCQ, I move that we pass and approve a resolution amending the implementation of our public safety ordinance by virtue of Section 3 of our city ordinance on the implementation of public safety hours, so that the public safety hours shall be enforced for minors, meaning 17 years old and below, from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. until we lift this public safety hours. And for adults, meaning 18 years old and above, that the public safety hours for adults should be from 10 p.m. up to 5 a.m. in order for us to be able to adjust to our new normal ordinance. So I move for the approval of this declaration or resolution.
So before the approval, let's hear first what other members' comments or suggestions or.
Just a comment.
Yes, go ahead, Honorable Asuyat.
We will encourage, we have to remind our fellow Boronganers that unless that is essential, they better stay home. Unless that is they are up or they better stay home. Kasi para di rin maprotektaran na like Borongan.
This would the time that it is only the time that we are amending. So, kumbaga, hit mga bata, the same natin generic na public safety hours, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Pero it adults, 10 p.m. na up to 5 a.m. But, syempre, our exemptions at aton coverage lagi hapit mga exemptions na nga pwede mag-beyond 10 p.m. An aton mga may reasons such as for medical or rescue, for work, and also, another business establishments, syempre, since it is managed by adults, they can operate up to 10 p.m. na. And especially, and exemptions na naman which can operate beyond our public safety hours for those essential businesses or services.
Okay.
But then again, I support and I would like to remind our public na kung diri talaga na maya importante, let us stay at home.
Yes.
So, thank you po.
So any more comments? None. So the chair would just like also to clarify of the effectivity of this resolution.
This declaration shall be effective today until we declare again through Section 3, the authority to declare public safety hours, that we are lifting the public safety hours implementation.
So, okay, thank you. So we have a pending motion from the Honorable Cainday. In a second. Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the proposed, the motion of the Honorable Cainday is hereby approved. Para nakita kalas cheese. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Under business for the day, we have for second reading the proposed ordinance establishing safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of COVID.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the body? Yes, go ahead, Honorable Cainday. Anacta-Sadac, sorry.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I submit the proposed ordinance for deliberation of the body.
So any more suggestions? Yes, go ahead, Honorable Asuyat. Kindly use the microphone so we can...
Just a suggestion with respect of Section 4, Paragraph A, Title A, with respect to the exception wherein face mask can be removed. And I would like to read this on record. Mandatory use of face mask. Face mask shall be worn at all times when one is going to any public place frequented by other people. A face mask may only be removed when so ordered by duly constituted authority for the purpose of... I recommend, siguro, suggestion ko lang, tanggalatan lain ngayon eh. Kasi, mandatory yung face mask. Unless sa akin, salit yung pagtatanggal. Dito lang hindi nga ibubutang nga may crime, may anuhin. Ano yung para, wala tala didi kay butang tali crime mababaliktad pa na face mask may only be removed when so ordered by duly constituted authorities for the purpose of bisan kay very ordered by duly constituted authority pwede niya tanggalan so kaya hindi nakakahiga kinala niya kuan mahabaw pa siguro wala na lang silent lang just a suggestion to the
Okay, so the proponent?
Noted, Honorable Suyot.
Okay.
But
yes, go ahead, Honorable Cainday.
But also under A2, a face mask may also be removed during activities wherein the wearing of which may cause health problems. So, A2, under the exceptions, I can understand the apprehension of Honorable Suyot regarding A1, but I think the purpose of putting this A1 provision as to the exemption when one may be ordered to remove the face mask, this is to hamper or hinder those who are abusing their authorities. Na kumbaga, tao, bisan ka kumita ka pulis at sumiring ha tanggala, kung maaram ka man nga waray rason, diba? At least you have a cause of action. At least for this purpose naman hiya nga, pwede ka talaga pagpatanggalan, kay bangan damit iba, sumiring di ak magtatanggal, bisan na sinisaring hit pulis, tanggal yung face mask, masaring diri pwede, kay bang penaltyhan, pwede naman it pulis, sumiring, no, you must do that, kasi I need to identify you, kay bangan kaunin na may name iba nga karagimuon. So, I think it is just, parang it is prudent, to
I understand, kasi the way it was crafted, ayan pamasahan ko lang.
Sige,
This
sige,
must
go ahead.
may only be removed when so ordered by duly constituted for the purpose of crime. Kasi magkukumit eh.
A2 man natin.
Di ka rita na sa dinga, identification o...
Okay.
How di na siya?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Takayo.
1 minute recess.
Okay.
Ayun na, session resumed. Okay, so, clarified by the PCL president that he has the wrong copy.
My
Okay, so any more
apologies.
suggestions?
Just another suggestion.
Yes, go ahead, Honorable.
According to the DLG, we must, since during this time that we should only
The microphone, please.
Impose humane punishment. Humane. That is the recommendation. In other words, if you will notice that we will be imposing a big amount of sum, applying our legal principle of pro reo, the lesser form of liability. May siguro we can ikontar la staggered nga kunti padako. Diri pa preho diretso, gidadako ipapreho.
Yes, go ahead, Honorable Cainday. Honorable Sadac.
But the problem right now is the people they're Navali. They do not observe strictly physical distancing, and that's why our mayor requested, and even also our chief of police called me up to impose monetary penalties.
In addition, Honorable
Yes, go ahead.
Presiding Officer, I was also present during the public hearing. There was no other, kumbaga, what I contend reklamo in hininga penalties. And although I can understand the manitkan Attorney Suyot on that side, but then what I'm thinking is this is a penalty which is not a liability that you have to pay automatically. You will only pay this once you violate the ordinance. Kasi once you are in compliant with the ordinance, there's really no penalty on your part, no liability on your part.
And just
Sige,
another
go ahead,
comment. I suggest that if there are violations of the ordinance, we should take necessary court action. Otherwise, our ordinances will be akin to ano ito natatawag tayo?
the pre-imposed punishment without judicial trial.
Basta pre-impose.
Imposing punishment
Oh.
without
Baga
judicial
may
trial.
ngigon.
Pinaglalaan na ito. That is the reality.
Sige. Okay, noted. Honorable Cainday? Any more comments, suggestions?
Bill of attender.
Yes.
That is a bill of attender.
Bill of attender, yeah. Tender. Yes, go ahead, Honorable Arago.
I just want to ask Kagawad
Bakit
Sadac,
kung copy naman?
because
Kindly use the microphone.
as I remember, this has to any amounts.
My apologies because I have furnished Honorable Arago the
I am on the penalties, on the penalty side. Is this the amounts?
5,000.
5,000. So if it's the one, I think dili na jive ang kanang tricycle ordinance. Paro-pareho man yung gihapon mga COVID protocols, non-wearing of the mask, 3,000, 4,000. I think you have to jive it with our approved approve penalties han atin tricycle COVID fare adjustment.
Honorable Presiding Officer.
Sige, go ahead, Honorable Akin.
On Section 10, there's a repealing clause that all existing ordinances and other local issuances that are inconsistent with this ordinance shall be amended or revised accordingly. So, we will assume that if this goes through third reading, the higher penalty, which is what is imposed here, will be imposed.
The newer law. Sige, go
Just
ahead.
another comment. So, because we have an existing provincial ordinance.
This ordinance is not yet approved, so we have to compare it. At least magkamay adahin papriodiri makukuntong tao ba? An ordinance sa natin tricycle fare adjustment was a little bit lower, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Para-pareho ka sistema, health protocols, din 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So, nagkakabayadahin.
No. Sige, go ahead, Honorable Suyot.
Itakal na yung apprehension kasi there is an existing provincial ordinance. We have to make sure that the penalty imposed under component LGU should jive with the provincial ordinance insofar as penalty is concerned. May na kasi na dito eh. Kunwari pa dito, guyon.
Sige, go ahead, Honorable Cainday.
To answer the inquiry of Honorable Arago, if our tricycle ordinance penalizes first offense 3,000, then 4,000, 5,000, it is actually not really inconsistent with this ordinance since letter B, the first offense 5,000 with warning, and the second offense is for office or business establishments. So tricycles would go under letter C of section 6 for individual violations, which is the same with our approved ordinance.
Yes, okay. So, 1 minute recess. Okay na, session resumed. Sige, so any more comments, suggestions? None? The committee chair on health?
Honorable...
Yes, go ahead.
Another thing, Mr. Presiding Officer, I would like to recommend to the principal author regarding the effectivity clause. The effectivity clause, since there is a penalty clause, that the mandatory compliance of the publication requirement, the posting, dapat i-mention tadi. The effectivity after posting.
But Honorable Presiding Officer, just like in civil law, if the word that this ordinance shall take effect immediately should automatically mean that this should take effect immediately after posting. We don't really need to amend this to put the posting requirements. In all laws, and I think our secretary to the Sangguniang is very much aware that this should mean that this should be posted first.
After
published. Yes.
This will create confusion with the implementing agency and mga enforcers. Pwede tayo i-implement dapat na para pa nga posting, magiging mabalik ka atin. Para pa inyo ka post, para pa ano yun, ang requirement.
Maybe siguro next ko but well actually, there is a point but we should kailangan ta ma-educated atin naman mga tao ha Borongan that pag nasa ringa, this will take effect immediately. Syempre, after posting and after publication lang tiya. Siguro I suggest that later hit atin mga ibang ordinances, we should also put talaga nga after posting, our publication requirements has been complied with.
Yes, okay. So, any more comments? None? The Honorable Anacta-Sadac?
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that the proposed ordinance be approved for second reading.
I second the motion.
Any objections? None? So, the proposed ordinance is hereby approved on second reading as amended. The Honorable Anacta-Sadac?
Honorable Presiding Officer, due to the urgency of this proposed ordinance, I would like to move that it will be included in the list of items for third reading.
I second the motion.
Any objections? None? So, the motion of Honorable Sadac is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Appropriation ordinance reverting to the MOOA the amount of 186,530 pesos from the salary savings IT number 1021-47 Executive Assistant Salary Grade 14 of the Office of the Sangguniang Panlungsod member Dr. Katrina Anacta-Sadac from the months of January to May 2020.
The The Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the appropriation ordinance reverting to the MOOE, the salary savings of Sangguniang Panlungsod member Dr. Katrina Anacta-Sadac from the months of January to May 2020.
Any second? Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the proposed appropriation ordinance is hereby approved. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Appropriation ordinance reverting to the legislative services, the amount of 186,530 from the salary savings, IT number 1021-47, Executive Assistant Salary Grade 14 of the Office of Panlungsod member Renato Sibagakay from the months of January to May 2020.
The Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on second reading the appropriation ordinance reverting the salary savings of Honorable Renato Bagakay from the months of January to May 2020.
Any second? Any objections? None. So the appropriation ordinance is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Appropriation ordinance reverting from salary savings in the amount of 184,514 of the Office of the City Vice Mayor to Legislative Services of City Office.
The Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on second reading the appropriation ordinance reverting the salary savings from the Office of the City Vice Mayor to Legislative Services of the said office.
Any second? Any objections? None. So the appropriation ordinance is hereby approved. Sige, go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
An ordinance prescribing a rental rate of building number 1 and 2 in Borongan Public Market.
The Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would like to read the short ordinance prescribing the rental rate of building number 1 and 2 in the Borongan City Public Market. So the relevant provisions under Section 3, the type of enterprises allowed. The following are the types of enterprises allowed to be sold in the aforementioned buildings. Number 1, on building number 1, preferably dried fish, salted and cured marine products, and other enterprise with only dry food products, except sari-sari stores such as bakeries, bake shops, or pasalubong products from other towns. And number 2, any enterprise except those selling food products. Section 4, rental rates. The following shall be the rental rates for each stall. For building number 1, if the type of enterprise is dried fish, the rental rate shall be 400 pesos per square meter. However, if the type of enterprise is other than dried fish or other dry food products or other businesses, the rental rate shall be 800 pesos per square meter. And for building number 2, second floor only, the type of enterprise that will be allowed is any enterprise except food products. The rental rate at 400 pesos per square meter. So this ordinance is similar to the ordinance passed with the Borongan City Transport Terminal in essence, except for the said provisions which are unique to the said buildings. So, Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on second reading. This ordinance prescribing the rental rate of building number 1 and building number 2, second floor in Borongan Public Market.
Second motion.
Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the ordinance prescribing the rental rate of building number 1 and 2 in Borongan Public Market is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
For third reading, we have a proposed ordinance establishing safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of COVID-19.
Honorable Presiding
Madam Floor
Officer.
Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on third reading the appropriation ordinance reverting to the MOOE, the salary savings from the office of Honorable Dr. Katrina Anacta-Sadac from months of January to May 2020.
Any second? Any objections? None. So the appropriation ordinance is hereby approved on third and final reading. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Appropriation ordinance in the amount of 186,000 from salary savings of the Office of the Sangguniang Panlungsod member Renato Sibagakay.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on third reading the appropriation ordinance reverting to the legislative services the salary savings from the office of Honorable Renato Bagacay starting from January to May 2020.
Any second?
Second.
Any objections? Further discussions? So the appropriation ordinance is hereby approved on third and final reading. Next item, Mr.
Appropriation ordinance in the amount of 184,514 of the office of the City Vice Mayor to legislative services of the City Office.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on third reading the appropriation ordinance reverting from salary savings of the office of the City Vice Mayor to legislative services of the said office.
Any second?
Second the motion.
Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the appropriation ordinance is hereby approved on third and final reading. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
An ordinance prescribing a rental rate of building number 1 and 2 in Borongan Public Market.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on third and final reading the ordinance prescribing the rental rate of building number 1 and building number 2 second floor in the Borongan City Public Market.
Any objections? None. So the ordinance prescribing the rental rates of building number 1 and 2 in the public market is hereby approved on third and final reading. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
The proposed ordinance establishing safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of COVID-19.
The Honorable Anacta-Sadac.
Let me just say something first. Here in our city, while majority of the people fully support the government's anti-COVID efforts, we can still see few of our residents who do not adhere our measures. We can still see people roaming around our city without face mask, and damo naman iton mga tao in our establishments that doesn't strictly observe physical distancing. Remember that it only takes one infected person to compromise the health of our community. Through this ordinance, we will create a needed barrier between the residents and the possible contaminants. And with the stiff penalties to deter the potential violators, this will greatly help our city to minimize the possible local transmission of COVID-19. With that, Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the proposed ordinance establishing strict safety measures in order to minimize the possibility of local transmission of COVID-19.
I second the motion.
Any objections? None. So the proposed ordinance is hereby approved on third and final reading. So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Announcement.
Mr. Secretary.
We have the ordinances and resolution enacted. Resolution authorizing the Honorable Mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the 78th Infantry Battalion, 8th Infantry Division, Philippine Army. It was enacted last June 19, 2020. Ordinance supporting proper dental health practice and prioritizing legal dental health practitioners in the city of Borongan, enacted last June 5, 2020. Ordinance amending the rules and administrative investigation by putting the witnesses or resources person under oath before testifying in the hearing. It was enacted May 22, 2020. Appropriation ordinance reverting the salary savings of 186,530 to the grant and donation of ISME member Limbauan. Enacted also last June 19, 2020.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. So, any more announcements? None. The next item, Mr. Secretary.
Adjournment.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the adjournment of our 44th regular session.
Any objections? Further discussions? None. So the 44th regular session is now adjourned. Thank you and maupay nga adlaw.